Before we get started in the content, I gotta give a huge shout out to Ryan and Tyshawn of the Hardly Initiated podcast, which is where this content comes from today. These guys have built a tremendous platform, and I've had the pleasure of watching it over the past year and some change. And the types of conversations that they are able to pull together on their platform, I think is game changing, especially in the space of moving conversations forward as it relates to relationships. Now, these gentlemen just had two diametrically well, in some cases they are opposed. A lot of cases they're actually similar, but at the core, there are some unique differences between the two content creators, one of being Anton Daniels and the other one being of Yada Awakening. Instead of me describing their positions, here's a couple of clips so you can see some of their thoughts on things.
We've been lied to.
They lied to us.
Most men are triggered because they've gotten comfortable allowing women to provide for them.
Never ever marry a woman or look to get in a relationship with a woman that is a single mother.
The women that agreed with going 50-50 with their men are women that's never had a real man.
You don't want people to be with you just because you have resources.
How can you expect her to work just as hard as you, come home, nurture the children, cook for you, have sex with you?
You can't keep the nigga that impregnated you. What makes you think that we want to hear your opinion?
So these two met up at the Hardly Initiated studios over here in Atlanta, Georgia, and they had a debate. The debate focused on four major topics. Number one, should men pay 100% of the bills in a relationship? Number two, are women less submissive today than they were previously? Number three, dating with children? And number four, red flags in dating. Now, the conversation, let's take a look right now. The conversation is 2 hours and 37 minutes long. Obviously in this VOD, I'm not gonna go over the whole thing, but guys, leave me comments down below, like the video. If you guys want me to do a full comprehensive breakdown via live stream, let me know, and maybe we could take it from that perspective as well. All right, but let's go over some of the major topics that I think is important for us to do. Without further ado,
this is a must. I must get a brother to cover 100% of the bills. So let's bring some clarity to this. Yada, I'm gonna have you open up the conversation here. Should men be expected to cover 100% of the bills?
I believe if men are claiming to be providers, and we know that means to take care of whoever's under you, that he should provide 100%. While we're doing this, this gives the woman time and space, not just to be great for the man, but also great for the children. And I want to use myself for example. I provide 100% for my woman. My son, he's only 5 years old, and he was tested 2 days ago, if I'm not mistaken. 2 days ago. He's only in kindergarten, but he tested at a 4th grade level. Why is that? Because I handle my responsibility, providing, and providing isn't just financial. Any man off the street can walk to a woman and give her money. Providing is elevating a woman mentally, elevating a woman spiritually, emotionally. This is what it means to provide for a woman. Not just, here's some money, run off with it. No. Let me elevate you. Let me bring you closer to your God. Let me set standards in your life. If your father gave you to me, you are my responsibility from the bottom of your feet to the top of your head. I'm gonna love everything about you 100%. And if I can't do that, I'm not a man. I'm a male. And that's a difference.
That's your one
Man,
track.
talk to me, brother.
No.
Talk.
before they go in, you can already tell from Yada's talking points who exactly that his audience is. Oftentimes, you'll see these Derek Jackson-like panderers within the female community that says a bunch of buzzwords and talking points that allows the women to feel good about themselves, irrespective of their ability to contribute a damn thing to the relationship. Now, if you're saying that a man is not a man, he is a male unless he can provide 100% of the bills. Now, mind you, he's a multi-millionaire through this pandering bullshit. So him providing 100% of the bills, being a multi-millionaire makes a lot of goddamn sense. But essentially what he's saying is that you are not a man until you could provide 100% of the bills to a woman. Meanwhile, the average salary in the United States, somewhere around $55,000 to $60,000 per year. And if you live in a medium cost to a high cost of living city, that could be difficult just for yourself. But listen, if there's one thing that I've learned about media today is that modern women love to be pandered to, and they'll pay you so much money to just receive information that helps them feel good about themselves. But the problem is, and the problem that I have with this guy is that lying to these women will produce less results in their life because you put them out of state of reality and you put them into a state of delusion. It is delusional to think that a man is not a man until he can provide 100% for a woman. Shit, I look at my own father within my life. He was a teacher. He didn't make a lot of money, but he raised me. So are you telling me that my father was not a man because he couldn't provide 100% in a marriage to my mother? Are you insane? Anyway, let's let Anton cook here for a quick second.
To me, brother.
Nope.
Talk to me,
that's
brother.
not what we're going to do today.
Talk to me, brother.
So this is what we're going to do.
Talk to
right?
me, brother.
Because he's like Kamala Harris right now.
Talk to me, brother.
And I've heard all of these talking points.
Saying a lot of
and I
nothing.
don't even study him. Because he says the same thing over and over again.
Talk to me.
See, the thing is that this is a debate. Anton sat there and listened to him. And in response, as he's trying to answer, he's throwing all of these damn words and all of these damn jabs. This means to me that he's a bit scared of what his opponent is about to say. So he's essentially trying to interject to throw him off of his shit. Let's keep going.
You got to control yourself.
Talk
because
to me,
that's
brother.
not
Good job,
manly.
Anton.
Talk to me, brother.
You got to control yourself.
Brother, talk to me.
Calm him
brother.
down.
You see how I was quiet
Talk to
when
me.
you were speaking?
No, you cut me off, but go ahead, brother.
I didn't say anything.
You got it, brother. There you go.
I was quiet
made that
when you were
up.
speaking.
Go ahead, brother.
And so now we're going to add nuance. Now we're going to add context. So, first thing we have to do is we have to ask ourselves the question, what does it mean to be a man? Because being manly has nothing to do with a woman. It has nothing to do with pandering. It has nothing to do with just providing.
Yeah.
Being a man means being purposeful. That's what being a man is. That means that whatever it is that I seek from God, because my purpose is not a woman is a helpmeet. So when he panders to you guys, and ladies, remember, I don't know what he's selling. I don't know what product that he has, but my goal is to get you married. My goal is to have you married based off of what God says is sanctified, right? I don't want y'all divorced. I don't want you unequally yoked. I don't want you to be a single baby mama. I don't want you shooting your shot in the dark thinking that this guy is giving you insight when he's just giving you talking points with no real substance behind it.
Let him cook.
And here's the context. At what age do you want to be married? Do you put yourself in a position to find the person that's best for you? Has your father given you away? Does your parents actually see value in the person that is looking to marry you? And when you start to ask yourself these questions,
Accountability
and I don't
questions.
speak to just rich people because we both have money, we both have resources. So let's remove that from the table. I speak to the majority, not the minority. And when you are 20, 21, 22 years old, especially if you are a person that's looking to become a man, you are supposed to fail in controlled environments, meaning that your father is not even supposed to give you everything.
Very true.
He's supposed to give you what you need in order to be successful. My father was able to buy me a car, but he told me that I had to earn it and work for it because I valued it more, which then extended to every single thing that I touch, including the woman. See, my wife is here. My wife travels with me. She knows me. She understands me, right? And so at 20, 21, 22 years old, you supposed to be broke. Unless you're doing something that you ain't supposed to do in order to get it.
Right.
You supposed to be building. You supposed to be understanding each other. It's a storming, a norming, a forming situation. And in no circumstance do you ever come into it fully understanding who the person is, regardless of whether you're a man or a woman.
Yeah.
And so when we start to look at what God has ordained to be great, the purpose of a man, it's not just to give spirituality and leadership, and it's to understand. The first thing that the word says, in everything that you do, you get understanding. And everything you do, you get understanding. I don't even know her. I don't even know you. Everybody is out here dating, everybody running around, everybody doing everything. They're giving themselves to each other. We think that money or resources or what you can do or what you can offer a person is supposed to make up for all of the insecurities and the problems and the issues that you have in your childhood. What have you solved for?
He's cooking right now. Now listen, just consider how flawed this brother's logic is. From a female perspective, if you're not just gonna buy into the pandering, essentially you're using money as a qualifier. Listen, there's men out there that have money as a qualifier that don't give a fuck about you at all. But there's good, hardworking men, good character men, high integrity men that may be in and around your space that you won't even look at because he doesn't fit this requirement of getting 100% of the bills paid for you. According to his own definition, I bet you that this brother was a male before he started to pander to women, because once he got that bag, now he can do exactly what it is that he tells most of the population of males to do. Let's keep going.
Right? Do you have problems in your childhood? Do you even have a father? Do you know what it means to be a man? It's a lot of women that's raising men to be feminine because they're in single parent households, right? How does that look? What does it look like when you get into a situation with a woman that has a child out of wedlock already, and then she still has to deal with the father? How do you deal with that?
Just don't get into them.
See, these are the questions that he can't answer for you
because it's
the only thing he talks about is pandering.
Yes.
I'm talking about context. I'm talking about substance. I'm talking about spirituality. I'm talking about praying together. I'm talking about building. You're supposed to get married when you're young because it prevents you from sinning and finding yourself with all of these bodies and these soul ties that ultimately carry with you for the rest of your life. And then you start to see every single man and you can't take it out of your memory with the person that you wind up being with. Most women have skipped over the man that they're supposed to be with because they didn't have the guidance, because they didn't have the spirituality. They don't know the word of God. And so it's easy to just say, oh yeah, just provide 100%.
Yeah.
What happens when life happens and you 22, 23, 24 years old and you get married?
Come on.
The economy messed everybody up.
Come on.
Everybody that thought that they had it, guess what? You got a plan and then God has a plan. What happened to the character? Why you don't talk about character?
Hold on, and Anton,
Why he don't, no, hold on. Why he don't talk about character? Because when I teach my daughter, I'm a reflection of the man that I would want my daughter to marry. I don't tell my daughter to go and look for a guy to provide for her.
Right.
I tell
That's
my
pimp
daughter to go and
mentality.
look for a guy that's believing in God, that has good character, that actually worships and looks for and focuses on his purpose, because everything else falls in line. The money is gonna come. We so busy chasing money. Seek ye first the kingdom of God and his righteousness, and everything else will be added unto you. You don't have to chase money. You don't have to look to women to provide for them, because if you're naturally that, if you're raised up in the admonition of your father, which is what God has ordained for you to do, you don't have to worry about that. That's naturally in you.
Let me answer the question for you, Anton. The reason why he doesn't talk about a man's character within his content is because a man's character doesn't pay her damn bills, right? Which she wants alleviated. The man's character, morals, doesn't pay for the child that she created way before you. But fantastic pivot from this brother right here. But what I can see is that this guy he's surface level in order to pander to extract as much money. Anton is more reality based. He can coach. From what I can hear, he could speak to reality, real life examples, what is really happening today. He focuses on being hard on men, having high requirements and standards for men in order to placate to the emotionality, the irrationality of some of these modern day women.
And so, yes, absolutely, she should be purposeful. And her purpose at that time could be raising the children, depending on if y'all got children. Her purpose at that time could be out there and bringing in resources because she's learning a new skill that can then translate into the company that y'all build together. It's a lot of nuance and a lot of context. But I hate it when people pander to women because they leading y'all astray. And it sounds like I'm a harsh father. It sounds like it's a difficult situation. It sounds like you're just supposed to be giving everything. But if that's the case, then why are we as a society,
It's cooking them.
why are we as a people, as black people in particular, so far behind, and we further behind than we ever been, even though we the freest and we have the opportunity to choose for ourselves? This isn't God. Ain't none of this what he talking about God right now. And I ain't even studied him. I ain't even getting started. I'm gonna let you cook. Go ahead, do your
hold on,
thing.
wait. So, but I want clarity before we move on.
Go ahead, let's get
because
it.
when we
Let's
talk about
get it.
should men pay 100% of the bills, I'm assuming that means based on the context that you just gave.
It's based
that
off
men-
of your circumstance and situation. Everyone is different, and nobody is a monolith.
My brother,
Yep.
my brother.
Nobody is
My
a
brother.
monolith.
Okay,
I
let's go, Yada.
love how he put so much passion into his words. But when God created man, God gave man a purpose. And what was the purpose? What was the purpose? He placed that man in a garden.
What the?
What's this? That's a tree. What's this? Those are clouds. What's that? That's a sky. What's that? That's a bear.
That's not what
And
happened.
listen to
You
me.
don't even know the
Man,
word of
listen
God.
to me.
You don't even know the word of
Listen
God, but
to me,
I'ma let you
brother.
cook.
Listen to me. And when God seen that he was fit to represent himself as a man, he put him to rest. And from that rib,
This is actually a smart tactic. You know, this is how preachers get a lot of women within the church. He's attacking with logic and reality, and now he's going faith-based in order. This is like, you know, ever watch that show Who Wants to Be a Millionaire and they got to phone a friend? He's phoning God right now in order to try to help his argument. Anton just asked you maybe 27 questions in reality about the context of relationships, the context of marriage, the nuance within all of that, and you start going to Adam and Eve, baby? What? Excuse me. I don't want to get deep into this religious discussion. Let's listen to a little bit more to see if there's any
he
more
took
substance.
Eve. Now, this is a fact. Now we have to understand, what does it mean when you create a woman from the rib? What is a rib? A rib protects the internal organs, the heart and the rib. If the rib is mishandled, it fractures, it breaks. And what does that do to the man? It leaves him vulnerable. It leaves him hurt. But if a man handles this rib, protects this rib, uplifts this rib, guides this rib, loves this rib, this woman is able to become something greater than what she was created, which uplifts the man himself. So God gave a man responsibility before he gave him a woman. He didn't say, here's Adam and here's Eve. He says, here's Adam.
Sound like he at the pulpit right now, right?
And here's a responsibility. And then when God was seen that he was fit to be considered a man and a head, which God is the head of man and man is the head of woman, he then gave God Eve. And then what happened, brother? And then what happened?
You tell me. Because I'm going to add the context. I want you to finish.
We can go in deep. If you want chapters, whatever, we can do this. But I need every young man listening to me that was raised in a home without a father. Young girls that was raised in homes without fathers. Your mother is divine greatness. Your mother is beautiful. I don't care what no man says about you, your mother, or where you can go. Strive to elevate. Strive to become the best version you are before you get into a relationship, so you don't have to drag a woman through the same things your fathers did to your mothers.
Oh my God.
Love yourself enough.
What is he even
to
saying?
Provide for yourself. So when you get into a relationship with a woman, you don't have to abandon her or drag her through your turmoils. All praises is completely due to the Most High. Go ahead.
All right, I'm gonna pause it right here. That was unbelievable. I feel like, number one, the louder that you yell doesn't make you more correct. I hope you do know that. But, you know, I guess the preacher thing, the fake preacher prophet thing that he's doing, it works, right? It works to a subsection. That's why men are leaving the church, right? In droves, for a variety of reasons, but one of which because the emotionality placates to the ear of a woman. But actually watching this debate in this manner reminds me that it pays dividends to be less emotional when you deliver your talking points, such as what an Anton is. Remain salient, clear with your points, direct, as opposed to all of this kind of theatrical shit that the brother on the right is doing. Anyway, let's fast forward a little bit because they go off into the religious conversation for far too long.
Regardless of whether or not we get you impregnated or not, we still have to be responsible for that. We go to jail regardless of if we want to take care of that kid or not. If we decide that we don't want to pay child support, even if it's not your child, a woman can put your name on the birth certificate and you will be imprisoned as a result of it.
Yeah, paternity fraud.
That is just the facts. It's men every single day that go to jail for things that they didn't do. They get accused of things that they didn't do every single day. Meaning that men by default, even back in the word of God, is held accountable for the things that their wife do. But it doesn't absolve the woman from being responsible for her own decisions. It does not absolve her at all. And that's the part of the context that we're missing. We always want to put it on the men. And justifiably so, because men have to be responsible, and you've never seen how great a society is without men being great themselves.
Yeah.
But we don't live in that time.
Oh, praises. Now, I want to finish what I was saying about
But I'm going to let him finish.
Thank you so much,
Let's go ahead and get it. Let's go ahead.
Thank you so much. First, I want to say, Antoine, I love you. And I'm glad that you came here to speak with me today. We don't have to get emotional, over talk, yell. It's not about proving points. Bro, we going to show facts. That's it. You said talking points, right? You said we couldn't go into context. Now, as we see, when a man leaves a woman unprotected, she doesn't just get hurt. Her family beneath her gets hurt. Now we're going to step into what the brother was talking about, generational curses. The generational curse fell on the sons. You okay, brother? I thought you were having a seizure. Your neck was moving a little bit. You okay?
I'm listening.
Just making sure you're okay.
Because you're doing the Kamala Harris.
No, brother, please, brother. Thank you so much. I love you, brother, really. When Adam and Eve, Adam is the head over woman. God is the head over man. When Adam ate, I'll give you a check if you want to, because I know I like to go back, and this is what I do. He ate of the fruit. Like the brother said, he was naked. God came to him and said, why are you hiding? He said, I'm naked. He said, who told you you're naked? Yes or no? You agree with that part? Thank you so much for agreeing. He then asked him, who told you you were naked? He said, the woman that you gave me the fruit. NIA. He took no responsibility over that woman. Now this turns into a generational curse, which goes down to Cain and Abel. When a man leaves a woman unprotected, we're going to see death in high numbers as we do right now. Detroit, Chicago, New York, they're even rapping about it, calling it drill music. But if men, young men, had fathers in their lives.
See, the issue with what he's doing is that there's a lot of people that are just wrapped up into what he's saying right now. But remember the original question, should men pay 100% of the bills? But now he has taken the pylon and thrown it to, should women be protected? A man does not have to pay 100% of the bills to protect a woman. What he's effectively doing is strawmanning. He's answering a question based off of men protecting women, and he's foregoing this 100% of the bills situation because Anton cooked him alive when Anton responded previously. He can't get into the nuances of men's age. He can't get into the nuances of all of the hardworking men, blue collar savages, even white collar men that do not make enough money to support a woman 100% in a medium cost to a high cost of living city. He can't talk about the responsibility that woman has to her womb. Why? Because of accountability. He can't talk about the responsibility of what do you bring to the table. Why? Because it forces accountability. He can't talk about some of their nasty ass attitudes. He can't talk about some of their low-key hate for men. But at the same time, creating content that breeds contempt or hate for men that do not align into his paradigm. So I had to skip forward about 5-ish minutes or so, and one of the hosts, facilitators, Tyshawn, brings around the question. Let's listen to his question again and then listen to their answers.
They're in masterminds, they're investing in themselves, but they have not really quite arrived at that place where they feel in this economy that they can really provide for the family at the level that they want, at the vision that they want, but they also may still have a lady that they love or that they're building with.
Building with.
Is it a good idea? Because I really want to give the men some game here. Should men take on a woman that they feel like they love and is an asset before he is capable and ready to 100% provide?
Good question.
What do you mean by, let me ask just a little bit more concept.
Yeah.
What do you mean by is an asset?
Well, he feels like she has the qualities of a good wife.
Because I believe that every woman can be an asset. But I'm wondering, in the context of your question, what do you mean by that?
As she has the qualities to become a wife and his long-term partner that he can build with.
So it's a woman that I'm assuming the woman that a gentleman is serious about.
Absolutely.
Should he take her on if he can't quite provide 100%?
Should he jump into this? Okay, I'm just going to summarize it because I'm a C student. I'm slow. He's smarter than me. Should he get into a relationship with this woman even though he can't provide 100%? Is that what y'all asking?
100%, yes.
Okay, all right, I got you. Is that a question for me?
Actually,
First?
how about this? I think I want to actually hear from Yada on this one because I'm not sure who's
because I think we're trying to clarify: is it should that be the goal to pay 100%, or should that be the standard?
Answer the question
prior to getting into a relationship.
It took him 30 minutes to come back here.
Should it be the goal or the standard? What do you mean? Break it down a little bit.
So you change.
Break it down a little bit for me.
So go ahead, Ty. Because I want to make sure we ask the same question.
Because I don't want to change the question. I want to make sure we're clear on the question. The question is simply, if we have a brother who is not ready to 100% provide at this point in his life and time, should he seriously be looking to pursue, marry, and build with a woman?
No.
Can I ask one more question?
Yes.
Or let me just add one more piece of context.
Okay.
Does it matter how old he is? How old is this guy that's asking this question? Because if you're 40, I think it's a completely different conversation than if you're 20.
Now, if you guys paid attention, the original answer to the question, he just said no. So he gave a comprehensive no. If you're 20, 25, 30, 35, comprehensive no. The context that Anton brought in is this age thing. So again, it's context. It's not surface level. It's digging into layers of the onion to try to understand the reality or the truth about a subject. Because the truth is that a 20-year-old man, from a financial perspective, more often than not, cannot compete with the finances of a 40 to 45-year-old man. The peak is probably going to be around 45 years of age, if not 50 years of age, from a money-making perspective. You can provide a lot more during that time than earlier on. But then Anton also added in the idea that, hey, listen, it's more beneficial essential for people to get married early because it keeps their private parts from getting STDs. It keeps them off of the streets. It keeps them, more often than not, hopefully focusing on their purpose, their passion. They begin to be able to create a family and like all of these different things. And, you know, we can argue the nuances of whether or not you need a marriage in order to be able to do that. For the context of the conversation, leave that out for right now. Anyway, let's just keep going.
Well,
then
let's
how
say
about this?
between
Give me-
30 and 40.
Give me the context on the different age groups. You can wrap that all into your answer when you contextualize your response.
Let them go.
I
Go
believe
ahead.
that, again, I think that if you're 20, marriage it's a multi-purpose construct, right? It's not just for love. I look at marriage as a business also. As a matter of fact, I also look at marriage as a business
Same.
first. It doesn't mean that it absolves you from love, but I absolutely look at it as a business. On top of that, it's also supposed to prevent you from sinning, right? One of the things that I advocate against is people doing married people things without, and again, you got to come from the perspective that I look at this through the lens of a Christian, right? So I'm saying that a lot of times people want to jump head first into sex out of wedlock, children out of wedlock, so on and so forth. And I believe that that absolves you from that. And it also gives you a greater purpose and responsibility because you now have to shepherd over somebody other than yourself. And generally, especially men, most men, you're supposed to care more about the people around you. And that's why even when you're trying to solve for something or even when you're trying to be successful, they tell you to think about somebody other than yourself because sometimes if you do it just for you, you won't care. But if you're doing it for your daughter, if you're doing it for your son, if you're doing it for people that's outside of you, even your mother or your father, when you add people into that equation, a lot of times you'll be a lot more purposeful and you'll be a lot more dedicated, consistent, and so on and so forth. So if you're solving for sin, if you're solving for also wanting to be successful, but understanding that it's an exchange for strengths for weaknesses, because it's not just one way, right? Women do add value into the conversation, and you're 20, 21, 22, 23 years old, you're supposed to be broke, relatively. I mean, compared to what me and him have, you're supposed to be broke. You're not going to be making $200, $300, $400, $1 million, $2 million a year. That's just a fact, unless you're doing something that you're not supposed to do. So at that age, I absolutely advocate for people to get married. And I also believe that it's best for people that have less resources to get married because it's a quicker way to build wealth. The goal ultimately should always be to where you can release her from doing the things that normal women would do that are single as far as having to provide and protect for themselves. But at the same time, I also think that there's nuance in that because if you're in a relationship with somebody that's early in there and you got it from scratch, I think that she has equity in what you do. If you're a 40, 50-year-old man, I think you need to probably get yourself together before you decide that you want to bring a woman into your space and you can't provide. And that's the context.
That's a
I
good
think that
context.
when you're older, if you've been playing video games and you've been doing the same thing over and over again and you don't have the results, you need to go and study your word. You need to get in your Bible. You need to dedicate yourself. You need to get a coach. You need to figure out what life is like.
So
at that point, I don't think that you should be in a relationship.
So
Here's the only thing that I disagree with, and maybe it's just something that Anton didn't say, but towards the end of that, he said, if you're 40 years old, you should be able to provide. If you've been eating Cheetos, like to a degree, it's going back to the male statement that Yada Awakening said a little bit earlier, but I still don't think a man is a male if he's 40 to 45 years old and cannot provide 100% of the bills to a woman. Right? Do I think it should be 50-50? No. I think it could be 70-30. I think it could be 80-20. Shit, if you want to do 90-10, I still don't think that because you do 90-10 or 80-20, that is making you a male. I absolutely do not agree with that. And I even think with the inflation of today, the economy of today, it is doable by probably less than 5% of men. Think about it again. It's probably less than 10% of all men. But the interesting part about that is the 80-20 rule, the 90-10 rule, where they say that 90% of the women go for 10% of the men. It's interesting how those numbers tend to line up. Anyway, let's keep going.
context, just so I understand, a man between his 20s and I guess between 20 and 30, it's fine for him to not be able to provide 100%.
Yes,
because
absolutely.
he's building with his lady. As a
100%.
man gets
And
40.
and here's the rest of the context, though, because I think that in society, and we live in this social media culture, that everybody thinks that you're supposed to live in a mansion. Everybody thinks that you're supposed to have a high-rise condo, right? You could provide 100%, especially if you have children, but are you willing to lower your lifestyle in order to build successfully and then add value into the assets that will ultimately make you rich in the future, right? So it's so much nuance, there's so much context to this. And it depends on where you at in your life. It depends on what you study, and it depends on what your family structure is like. It depends on if you come from money and resources, right? All of those things matter. And I think that there is no one right answer. It depends on the circumstance, and everybody's circumstance is different.
There we have it. Okay, Yada, we're going to give you a chance to respond here.
I love the way he articulated himself. It's very beautiful. But being well traveled, I've seen men provide 100% without having so much. And like the brother said, long as they're staying within their standards, I don't think a man should get into a relationship with a woman until he knows he's able to handle all responsibilities by himself, just in case that woman leaves him. Because if you're in a relationship with a woman and you're living with a woman and she's paying half and you're paying half and she leaves you, what are you gonna do? Lose everything you have, your car, your home? A man has to be able to provide for himself and another comfortably before he entertains a woman. But not just speaking on the financial part, a man needs to make sure he's spiritually whole, mentally whole, emotionally whole. Because if he's coming from America and coming from certain backgrounds, majority of the time they're scarred. Even if they were raised in home with two parents, they're scarred and they're battling some form of childhood trauma. And men, we get so caught up in our ego and our pride, we tend to bleed on the person that's right next to us, forgetting this person's on our team. Now we're stressed out because we can't pay the bills like we should. She's fussing at us. Now what we do, we drinking more, we smoking more, we trying to run away from the truth. We're trying to run away from our children. Brothers, if you're listening to me,
oh my God,
and you didn't have the proper father in your life, please, I beg you, take care of yourself. Love yourself, provide for yourself, spend the first 5 years of your adulthood working on becoming the man that you need to be so you can get the woman you want and not the woman you settled for. Because a lot of men are getting into relationships with women they're settling for because they can't get the woman that they truly want. Now they're misusing this woman, abusing this woman, children come, they leave this woman. Most men that leave women because they weren't properly good with them. They didn't love them. They couldn't connect to them on all levels. They got a woman that took them at the level which they were on, and a woman that they truly wanted, they're not going to look at them. So all I'm saying to my brothers, and I love what Antoine, I don't disagree when he said family is business. No, man, I for sure.
Notice how in his debate tactic, again, and this is what his whole platform is based off of, the focus is on the negativity of men or men being abusive fathers, when we know that there's abusive mothers. But he doesn't talk about that, right? We know that there's a focus on men being able to provide, and he shames men that are unable to, but he never talks about the westernized, capitalistic mindset, materialistic, keep up the Joneses mindset that many of these modern day women have. They are privileged to be in a country like this, but they don't feel whole unless they're dressed like their favorite Instagram model or dressed like their homegirls. He's not wrong when he says that there's certain men out there that have to heal scars. But if you're going to talk about the men that have to heal scars, then damn sure you have to talk about the women that have to heal scars, or the societal pressure to either hate men for not amounting up to something or to be a whore in society today. The amount of times that I go over these damn pop the balloons and these women are put together, well-dressed, good jobs, and you go up on their damn Instagram and you can see their buttholes up on their Instagram is so damn crazy. If that doesn't point out to you that there's an issue that has to be focused on the other side, then I don't know what is. But here's the thing. You fill these women's minds with what is expected of us to them without focusing on fixing their shit to even meet up to the standard of a man who could provide that. Let go.
For sure. It's business. But brothers, please take care of yourself mentally, emotionally, financially. Make sure you're talking to counselors. Make sure you're dealing with childhood trauma, especially if you were raised in homes with abusive fathers, either verbally abusive, emotionally abusive, or physically abusive. or you didn't have a father whatsoever. Spend this time in your adulthood loving on yourself, protecting yourself, leading yourself, and guiding yourself. So when you do find a woman that you love, you don't break her. Women can't endure what we endure. They can't do it. And when a man is building on the come up, we pour so much hurt onto our women because men get stressed out. When we trying to build, we get stressed out. To get to where me and Antoine's at, we put a lot of work in. And it came with a lot of pain. It wasn't peaches and creams and kumbayas. It's, I gotta figure this out. Oh, what's going on? And sometimes the woman right next to us gets this attitude, gets this aggression, not because we don't love them, but they're right next to us, so we're bleeding on them without meaning to, and we're blessed to have women, because I believe your wife was with you on your come up, right?
Absolutely. I've known her since high school.
They were able to endure the men till we got to this level, because I wasn't this man 10, 20 years ago, but I had to go through so much to become this man, from trial and error, trial and error, trial and error. And I'm just blessed to have a woman that was able to endure it. A lot of women don't have the endurance for that. And a man should never bleed on his woman if he says he loves her. Brothers, please heal. Heal yourselves first, and then get into a relationship with a woman.
There you have. So we got.
All right, so guys, listen, I'm gonna pause the content right here. Just as I said before, guys, let me know down in the comments section if you guys want me to go over more parts of this discussion, or if you want me to do a live stream on it where we can all have a conversation of it. Shout out to Anton. I think he absolutely cooked. Let me put down the cooking sound down up in there. All right, that's exactly what he did through this portion of it. And you know what? It got actually more entertaining towards later parts as well. So guys, I'm going to leave a link to the full thing down in the comment box down below. So go down there, check it out. Also subscribe to Hardly Initiated. These brothers are over here, hard working, good brothers up here. You understand what I'm saying? So go up there, show them some love, support, and respect. And also to this brother right here, listen, to be able to come to a table and to talk about your points, your ideas, debate your ideologies, and to shake hands at the end of the day, it's fantastic for men. It is fantastic for the culture. And I think that these are conversations that need to happen more often than not, right? Because it's easy to get within our own echo chambers and to create a platform placating to the emotions of whoever our audience is, but to actually pressure test these ideas where everyone can kind of hear these types of things and shake hands at the end of it is what we need more of. But again, shout out to Hardly Initiated for holding a place that I actually haven't seen anyone else on the internet being able to hold debates like this, like they are currently doing. Shout out to these brothers. All right. Questions, comments, concerns. Y'all already know what to do. Me, go to tourismreviews@gmail.com. Guys, again, leave it down in the comment box down below if you want me to continue to go in. Last but not least, if you guys are interested in a men's development community, my men's development community, the MT Army, there's a link to it down in the description box down below. It's free. Click in, beam up, connect with the brotherhood, all right? Until next time, you two. Peace.